Welcome back to the Fatties. I'm Rebecca.
I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Allie.
And today we're just going to catch up with each other. It is a new year. We've recently been away from each other for the holidays and trips and so on. And during that time, life has continued happening. So we want to stop and kind of do our little chit chat, get caught up with each other with y'all in the room.
We just want to yap. We just want to yap it up. Actually, we're actually recording a day later than we had actually planned on recording because we all got together for the first time since we had seen each other before Christmas.
Guilty.
And we just fucking yapped.
We yapped too much.
We yapped too much, and then we went to the mall.
We needed a day to just be friends because we hadn't seen each other in a couple weeks. And apparently that means we now know to schedule friendship time prior to work time.
Yes.
Yeah. Friendship time is a must. We have
another friend who misses us dearly. Lucky's at the door snorting his way around.
Yes, we did have Lucky in here earlier when we were recording a previous episode, but Lucky lost his indoor studio privileges, so.
For today, he definitely did.
Just for today.
He met his limit, and that's fine.
It's okay. It's all right. You know what? I think we've all met our limit. But we're here. Some of us are queer. Get used to it. Oh my God. All right. So
she can't keep herself away from a pun, y'all. It just is there.
I literally can't. I can't. I'm addicted to you.
Okay. Actually, can we just say one little story quickly about the joy of puns? All right. So me and Allie went to Trader Joe's, and I wanted to get stuff for smoked salmon, dill, creme fraiche, toast, that dish. Okay, and they didn't have any dill out in the store, and I was like, I don't want to have to go to another grocery store to get dill. Like, can we see if they have it? So Allie goes up to the worker. She's like, hi, we're looking at the herbs, and you didn't have any fresh dill, but you had the others. Do you have any?
That is not my delivery ever, but okay.
Anyways, the worker went into the back and checked, and when she came out, what did she say?
She comes out. I just want to preface this with me and Rebecca had already been out for hours. Our peopling meter was pretty low. And we were like, we were wrapping up the day. We were just ready to get the things that we needed from Trader Joe's and be on our way. This girl comes out and she goes, all right, ladies, here's the dill. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And her face was like, eh?
I loved it.
She thought about that on the way to the back and the way from the
those
back.
Those were my words. I was like, girl, you thought about that on the way out here? And it paid off. It fucking paid off.
This girl over here loves some puns. You just made her day.
It was a big deal to me, so.
That's funny.
But yeah, life lately. So much has happened in such little time, and we're just going to kind of go around and share about what's going on. For me, I am now single again.
If you like it, then you should have put a ring on it.
Oh, no, we don't. No. We didn't want him to put a ring on it.
Yeah, so me and the guy I was seeing, we broke up early December, and I'll admit I was very emotional, distressed, upset, sad, frustrated, and I had a very big open wedge to that for reconciliation. And then throughout the month, it's just obvious that wasn't going to happen. And now I'm on the other side of that. Now I'm on the side of reconciliation does not make sense. It is best to move on. And that's where I'm at. And so I navigated a lot of heavy emotions.
Yeah, you did. I want to ask, what do you think is your takeaway from, I don't know, however you want to take that question. I think it could be a takeaway from the relationship, from the breakup, from the whole process. What is your takeaway from this?
Yeah. I mean, I will say this was my first quote unquote serious relationship in the fact that we called each other partners. We were exclusive. We had the titles and all of that stuff, and everything before that was situationships. And I do feel like what I had seen up until that point all led me there, and I feel fine about having been in a relationship with him. I think the things, like anytime you date someone, you do understand yourself better in terms of your wants and needs. All right. So if I were like to make a little dating profile for myself now, it would be, I think to a certain extent, I want a wholesome love. I want a gentle partner. I want really high emotional intelligence. I want an empathetic partner. I think the feelings part, processing feelings, talking to others about your feelings, wasn't as big in my life pre-podcast, but also now is like a really big essential thing for me. There were some things that went well that I also really liked. Like there was a level of like acceptance in terms of he liked my quirks for the most part. He liked that I was kind of silly, goofy. He liked that I liked Pokemon. He liked that I ran a social group, etc. You know, there were things he didn't like, maybe connected to some of those things. And I do think one of the things I've discovered with the work of my therapist is as I go into new relationships, I think a lot gets tested when you disagree. Mm-hmm. So how do y'all handle disagreement? And I will say in my life, disagreement often has meant end of relationships. And so I need someone that's very open to disagreeing and not disagreeing in like a harsh way. Like how can we talk through disagreements? Yeah. I also found out and realized like some of my body triggers that I knew I had body triggers, but I think I understood more where around the body triggers they are. Like I have a big sense of autonomy, a big sense of needing agency. I feel very controlled easily. And not that I don't think I'm misnaming things as controlling behaviors or things wanting things in your control that shouldn't be in your control. I don't think I'm misnaming any of that.
No, not
I
at
just
all.
think that some people are more open to it being in someone else's control, and I'm not. And so that was a really big trigger for me. And then I think, a partner who's like, the word that keeps coming up in my mind is someone who's curious about it and wants to like find out, okay, well, like I didn't intend for you to be upset or have emotions about this, but what is that about? And how can I understand this about you better? And I need that.
Yeah.
I need that. I need it to be okay for me to have, emotional responses to things, especially things involving me, and be able to like talk about it with someone who's going to first like work to understand versus try to have their point of view right.
I said this to you off camera, but I am saying it for the record. And that is, you are so unbelievably kind and compassionate. And I think you did such an eloquent job of trying to understand a different point of view throughout the whole time. And I think as your friend, what was frustrating was seeing that not reciprocated.
Yes.
To understand your point of view a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where the curious, when you say that, comes from. I think you were curious the entire time to learn about someone else and all of the things. And I don't think you were met at the same level. I'm not saying you weren't met at all. I do not think you were met at the same level. And I do think that is a really great takeaway was, you want someone who's going to come to the table to have the conversations and to learn and grow. I say all of the time, I teach this to our leader teens, conflict is scary.
Yeah.
But sometimes we need to stop thinking about conflict as in yelling, fighting, screaming. Mm-hmm. Conflict can be two different point of views that come to a table, and we can learn about each other's point of view and work together to move forward.
Yeah.
Billy and I have had some ugly throwdowns. And I know today our relationship would not be as strong as it is without them. Mm-hmm. I don't wish that on people.
Yeah.
But I do think it's how you move forward.
Yeah, I think it's how do I disagree with them. Do I still care?
Yeah.
Do I still want to move forward with them? Am I willing to put in the work to compromise or find out what a compromise looks like? And it hurt. Yeah. It hurt to say my needs weren't being met and I felt unloved.
Yeah.
That really hurt. And I don't cry often. I'm not going to cry today. But I cried with these two about it. And it was rough. I cried for like 3 days. I couldn't eat. It was bad. And then I think hope sprang back up again. Well, maybe if just we do this, that, and then it showed itself to be true. And for me, as someone who really struggles with making what feels like, I don't like making rash decisions, right? Even if I know my feelings are leading me that way. As much as it felt bad to break up and then to like let the door open a little bit to see if reconciliation was possible. I'm happy with the way it turned out, you know, because breaking up took me out of a situation I knew I shouldn't be in and allowed me to see like, hey, is this person still willing to work to get to a different place? And when that wasn't the case, like I can be like, okay, I'm at peace with that. I tried everything I could do. I feel like I tried everything I could do without compromising myself, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And so I feel, you know, basically a month later, a lot better than I did a month ago.
Yeah.
But like the emotions I was feeling, I was like, you two feel like this level of emotion often? Could never.
No, it's disgusting.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, and I think, you know, wasn't just sad because my whole weekly life had been wrapped around this person. You know, we had discussion, we had a vacation planned, we had future plans of what our lives would look like. You know, and so it's realizing all of that isn't going to happen.
It's grief. It's grief of the immediate loss, but it's also grief of a future that, you know, however far in advance you had looked forward, right? It's grieving all of that you did dream of, right?
Yeah.
That's what grief is. Mm-hmm. It's not just the immediate loss. It's not just the, oh, I can't text him. Oh, I'm not going to see him tomorrow. But it's the, I thought I was going to move in with this person. I'm not moving in with him. I'm not building a life with this person. You know, all grief and loss is, unfortunately, it is, I mean, there are people that I lost, you know, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and not just, you know, because through death, but relationships, you know, friendship breakups, familial breakups, whatever, that, you know, you will experience that loss in different ways time and time again. Mm-hmm. And it really is, it's just, it's not necessarily the physical loss, but it's grieving what could have been.
You know, through having a couple of these conversations and supporting you, working through it, the only point that you continue to say that I do not agree with, and I don't think Allie's going to agree with either, is I don't think you jump to any rash decisions.
No.
You know, I understand that through having a partner and a conversation that it felt rash to them, but you were giving options to try and have them take a step towards you, to meet in the middle, to have a conversation. And there was no response, right? So while it might feel like it came quick to the partner, from our point of view, you were gently coaching. Someone's got to step up to the plate. You know, you have to meet somewhere.
One of the things that I've been working on with my therapist since I started therapy is this idea of like me feeling responsible for everything. And I think in that relationship, I was like, this isn't going to get addressed unless I lead us down that discussion. So I think I knew that I was the one that was going to be taking all the actions, and that was hard on me. Because in that sense, like, I don't think he would have broken up with me because he just wouldn't have taken that action. He just would have kept being unhappy and telling me he's unhappy over and over again, right? And then, like, again, I would have had to take the action to stop doing the thing that would make him unhappy.
But he was also okay telling you what you were doing.
Right. Like, it was all based on, I was the active one, it felt like. And I think that's also something I've learned. Like, I don't love, like, with men specifically, and, like, male performance of that gender, right? I do not want a domineering partner. I don't want that. I don't want the person who feels like they need to lead me into everything. I very much so want the equal partnership.
A partner.
But that equals us taking turns leading. That takes us walking together. You know, it's not me. Like, I don't want me doing all the leading, me doing all the action either. Like, because again, then I'm like, where are you showing up? You know?
I did not learn this until I saw a literal Instagram video. I was scrolling through and someone was talking about relationships, and they were like, everyone says relationship needs to be 50-50, 50-50. She was like, it's the biggest lie. Sometimes it's 60-40. I had to do the math really quick.
I was waiting for the math.
Sometimes it's 60-40. Sometimes it's 90-10.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes you each only have 40% and you need someone else to come in with the other 20%.
Yeah.
You need to rely on family supports and friend supports or whatever. And ever since I heard that, that could not be more true
Yeah.
for me and Billy's relationship. Sometimes Billy is the 100% and I am 0 showing up in our relationship. Sometimes we both are really doing good and we'll be able to be around 50-50.
Yeah.
55, 45, 40.
You're doing great with your
God.
math right now, girl.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Don't doubt yourself now.
Yeah. So I really resonate with that. I think that was a big learning moment for me. And I really, really connect with that.
Hey everyone, did you know that the Fab Fatties are on Patreon? Yes, we are. And you can follow us for more behind the scenes chaos. We have bloopers, we have Allie raging, we have, me climbing out windows. I don't know. We just have a bunch of crazy stuff over there. Yeah, so you can find us on Patreon. That's
PATREON.com/the Fab Fatties.
PATREON.
That's what I said. .com/the Fab Fatties.
And we will see you over there.
No, I feel the same way. I remember early on in my relationship with James, I was dealing with, some mental health issues, and I was just really struggling. And I think I had done, and I still sometimes do this, but, and you guys know this too, but I had done a lot to try and push him away and just convince him that it was just going to be too much work. I'm too much. Because again, I was taught that I was, but, I remember there's this like meme or GIF or whatever from this movie that Anne Hathaway and Jake Gyllenhaal did together. It's called Love and Other Drugs. She has some sort of illness. I can't remember exactly what it is, but she knows as the illness advances, it's going to get harder. And at one point during the movie, she's basically kind of trying to push Jake Gyllenhaal away and saying, "It's not fair. I'm going to need you more than you need me." And I remember one day I was having a very low day. I was having a very hard day. And I sent that to James just saying, "It's not fair. I need you more than you need me. I feel that I require more, because of my mental health battle sometimes." And in the kindest way, he just was like, "I don't know how to convince you that that's not true." And sometimes it is just somebody just meeting you where you're at and saying like, "No, that's simply not true." And then other times it's been, "Well, you didn't sign up for this." And he's like, "Well, then tell me where to fucking sign," but it truly is, it should be a balance. And it doesn't have to be a 50-50, but it's meeting each other where you are. It's meeting each other where you are and being able, like you said, and being able to have happy conversations, sad conversations, hard conversations, but knowing that any of those conversations are not, they're not deal breakers, I mean, I think that you get to those deal breakers very early on, right? But you're not in danger of, "Oh, if I say the wrong thing here, this is over."
Yeah.
Versus being able to have healthy conflict,
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't necessarily want it portrayed that like if I said the wrong thing it'd be over, but more so when we had conflict, it was no, how do you feel and can we meet in the middle,
Yeah.
So I'm starting 2025 single yet again, and I will say, as much as like it was fun starting to fall in love, I don't feel like closed off to it, which I'm thankful for. I don't feel closed off to it. I do feel like, oh, that was a lot of energy and like, but I know like I walked out of that being like, okay, well, in the past if I've dated, I've never needed it to be more if it's not what it is. Like I've never faked it, right? And now I know if I'm in a relationship, I still value peace and like healthy communication above being in a relationship, which, I think some people, when I'm in the first relationship, are a little bit worried, like, okay, are you going to do this just because you want a boyfriend? I don't need a boyfriend. The question is, I like this person. Can we get to this healthy place? If it's unhealthy, I'm okay saying, all right, it's unhealthy. Enough is enough.
Well, I think it's such an admirable place to be at, but that's something that I do love so much about you is that you are so at peace in sitting in your own company, that you're like, you're at this point that it's like, okay, is this person worth disrupting my peace? Are they going to add to my peace? Or am I more peaceful being by myself? Right. And you're not by yourself. You have us, you have your family, you have wonderful friendships. But it very much is understanding that, you are at peace. It's not that you need a relationship. So is this person going to add to my peace or take away from it?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's been the start of my year, and I am very happy to be on this side of things versus where it was in December, because that was rough.
Yeah.
It is not an easy place to be in, but it is to be human after all. I guess I do have emotions and cry.
Yeah, she does. All right, so we've caught up with Rebecca. So Alyssa, I want to hear a little bit about what's going on with you, what's been going on over the last few weeks, over the last month.
Yeah.
Let's catch up.
I came into this episode going to talk about internal conflict and how I've been getting some feedback from my team that I need to minimize internal conflict, which is true. I need to minimize my internal conflict. I'm doing a lot of...
Maybe explain what internal conflict...
just went to go do it. I'm doing a lot of the recovery voice and the eating disorder voice are fighting. And I'm doing a lot of the growth and the safe habits are fighting. Okay. So it's a lot of, gosh, let's talk about the Pop-Tart. Right?
Yeah.
The recovery voice is like, Alyssa, we need to go eat the Pop-Tart. The eating disorder voice is saying, fuck your Pop-Tart and fuck you. I'm not... Can
we go for reference for people that have not watched...
This is from what episode was it?
Actually, I don't think we included that in the episode, maybe.
No, we did.
There was a moment where Alyssa references the fact that we made her eat a Pop-Tart before we recorded because it had been all day and she hadn't eaten.
Okay, it wasn't all day. Relax.
Okay.
Yeah. Eating disorder voice. It was all day.
It was.
So I'm doing a lot of this tit for tat in my brain, and it is exhausting.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about ways to just minimize internal conflict. I don't need to figure out what I'm going to eat for lunch. I just need someone to put the food in front of me and then me just work through eating it. Right?
Yeah.
It minimizes some of this back and forth. It's just really exhausting. So I came in going to talk through that, but really what has been so amazing for me in 2025 and the end of 2024 is I am showing up for myself.
Yeah.
I'm showing up for myself, and it's really hard, and it's really uncomfortable, and it's really uncomfortable to sit here and say, I value myself. I value my feelings. I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Actually uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's really hard to sit here and say that, and yet I showed myself love and compassion even when those around me weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I advocated for myself when I felt like my boundaries were being crossed, and I actually took up the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did it. I didn't just talk about it.
Yeah.
And we were so proud of you.
Yeah. I'm really proud for doing the work, and I'm really proud for doing the work.
Yeah.
No end. I'm really proud for doing the work.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I'm very uncomfortable, and I am still struggling through feelings of do my feelings matter? It's about their feelings, just the people pleasing.
Yeah.
And the wanting it to go away.
Because sometimes showing up for yourself means you're not showing up for someone else's emotions, right? And so if they're doing something that's harmful and you're sitting there saying, hey, this is harmful and this is how, it's conflict, and so it's not I think sometimes people say oh, showing up for yourself is just all it's the self-care, it's the bubble bath. But no, sometimes it's having to put a conversation at risk, a relationship at risk. And that doesn't feel good, even if you know that what you're doing is right by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think with someone like you, who at the beginning of this podcast said, I am very cool with saying you all deserve, or we all deserve, but I don't deserve, right? It is growth.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is growth you absolutely should be proud of yourself for.
Yeah. Again, really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I think there's still a huge portion. I think there will always be a part of me that doesn't believe it. Doesn't fully believe it, right? But I did it. Mm-hmm. And that's what matters.
It's a step.
Yeah.
It's a step. It makes me think of the other day. I don't normally, lately, or this is growth for me, I don't normally anymore engage with trolls online. I happen to think that I was in a safe comment section, and then turns out that there was someone in that comment section that wasn't. I just didn't realize it until later on in engaging with this person. But this person basically kept going back and forth of, I'm so sick of people and their feelings and their feelings and their feelings and their feelings. And I finally got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for caring about other people's feelings or my own. And I think that's a really good point for me to get to and for you to get to, right? It's okay for you to care about other people's feelings, but it's also okay for you to care about your own feelings. And I think that's the biggest thing that I was so proud to see in what you shared with us about some of those moments for you, is that you recognize that, yes, it is worth showing up for other people's emotions,
but not at the risk of my own.
but there is a reciprocity there of wanting, is that the word I'm looking for? Of wanting those same people, when you care so much about their emotions and how you can possibly impact their emotions, to want the same in return.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like you're going around trying to harm people for your emotions, right? Like, this is actually reminding me a little bit of me with the breakup and stuff. It's just the fact of, I'm willing to talk to you about my emotions and hear your emotions. I'm not willing to take the responsibility of your emotions, communicating them with kindness versus any other kind of strategy, you know, like those, there are certain things that other people are responsible for, and I'm here to talk through them, but not here to get nasty, not here to be disrespectful, etc. And then that's where you showed up for yourself. I'm willing to talk, but it has to be in this situation where we're honored as people, and if that can't happen, then I'm removing myself from the situation, you know, and I'm letting you know why. I'm very clearly communicating that the boundary has been crossed. And it's difficult to do, but what it does is it does set up, like, I'm only going to exist in places where respect is there, where, you know, we're using healthy mechanisms to talk through things, etc. And that's creating the world you want to be part of. That's creating the relationships you want to be part of. And it might take some people time to get there. Or, like, I mean, obviously with a boyfriend, it might be time to go and see if there's someone else to, you know, have that with.
I don't remember exactly when, but early on in my recovery, it came up with Chelsea when I was at Renfrew. I just was crying in her office one day, and I was like, I am just so horrible to myself that I don't need it from other people.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I just need people to speak to me kindly, because I can't do it for myself. You can't be meaner to me than I already am to myself.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that is, like, really where it comes from, is like, can you just speak to me kindly? Just kindly. I'm not saying that you can't get upset with me. I'm not saying I didn't do anything wrong. I'm just asking you to communicate it kindly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly reasonable to ask.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think that's my update, is I'm doing uncomfortable work.
Yeah.
I also started journaling.
She's journaling every single day, and our lives depend on it.
Oh, yeah. That's a fun update. Okay, so I got the 5-minute journal in my stocking for Christmas, and the 5-minute journal prompts you to give yourself, for the first 5 days, it's like, give yourself a reward. If you journal every morning and every night for 5 days straight, a reward you want. And then it also says, like, what's your consequence if you don't do this? And I was trying to pick something I would absolutely despise doing, and I was trying to be a little funny. And it was funny, but now that it's on paper, I can't mess up, because my punishment is I have to send a video to Billy denouncing feminism if I do not journal every morning and every night for 5 days straight. I'm happy to report it is day 5, and I did journal this morning. So all we have left is tonight, and I'm not missing it in the 10th hour. What is it, the 11th hour?
Yeah.
11th hour. Yeah, we will not be letting her miss it.
I'm not missing it.
We've been doing text checking because I feel like we all depend on this. We can't have a video of her saying this out in the world.
No, absolutely not.
We will not have this be used against her, period. And us in return,
No,
period.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna get a new shade of lipstick. So drop me some, little shade ideas.
Little shade ideas. We're gonna shade you real hard. No,
Oh, I see.
She saw another opportunity for a pun, and bam, she took it. Okay.
Allie, what is going on?
Well, clearly I have not grown in the pun department. But you know what? Same train as you, Alyssa. Same train as you. Some
Copycat.
We always are trying to become you, like you say.
Gosh.
just personal growth. Personal growth. Your girl did get a little part-time job. I am currently collecting jobs. But no, I'm very much in my anti-hustle culture, but I want to pay my bills, but do it in a way that I'm having fun. Because I was so very much tied to like my career is my entire identity, and the money that I make and the awards that I bring home is my whole worth. And like, Allie, how's it going with your life? Great. This is how much money I'm making, and this is the car that I have, and the house that I own, and the bags that I own. And now I'm just like, I got a little this job, I'm doing a little bit of this job, and I'm paying my bills, and I get to go and, go to the mall with my girlies and get some soft pretzels and, whatever. So love that for me. But as far as my personal growth, I am learning how to not react. And that, for someone with borderline personality disorder, is a big pill to swallow. But yeah, I'm getting a lot better at not reacting to online trolls, to honestly just the dumpster fire that this world is right now, and to intentional hurtful actions of people who should not be hurting me. But I did in 2024, late 2024, I did make the decision to go completely no contact with my mother and my sisters. Finally, it was a long road and it was a long time coming. But I finally made that decision, and there was definitely some retaliation. And the thing that I've realized through therapy and, obviously with talking with you guys a lot and through, being with a really good therapist now, is that I'm learning that, and I'm not saying that I never, I was the perfect angel of a child, right? But I am realizing that a lot of situations that I really thought defined me were simply me being villainized for my reactions to being treated really, really badly. And in intentional, very shitty ways that from the outside looking in could seem like very little, very, so that nobody really could see how bad it was. But it all would really boil down to, well, she's just a bad person. Look at how she's acting. Look at how she's reacting to the way that we treat her. Part of the really hard part of that is that it's hard because these are people that are, quote unquote, supposed to love you.
Yes.
They're not supposed to hurt you, right? And so I do a lot of digging for the part where I deserved it. I do a lot of ruminating on all these very bad memories that I have and looking for, what the fuck did I do to deserve that? And not being able to find it. And that's hard because it's almost easier. Alyssa and I talk about this a lot. It's almost easier if I had done something to deserve it.
It is easier.
Yeah.
It feels better, to be honest.
It does.
It feels better to blame yourself than it is to accept that you actually did nothing to deserve it.
And I mean, I look back and I'm like, I skipped study hall and smoked weed in high school. And that made me the worst person in the world. I was told by one of my sisters that I should have been in jail or dead. I skipped study hall and smoked weed. I mean,
Me thinking there's college teachers that do that. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, weed is legalized in so many states.
Right? But in jail or dead. Yeah. But so much of it, looking back, was just being mocked, ridiculed, poked at, screamed at for how I reacted to being mocked, ridiculed, poked at, and screamed at. And I had to get myself out of the cycle. I had to get myself out of the cycle. And my growth now is seeing that when some retaliation tactics come up, my first instinct is, and I think will be for a very long time, because there is that massive, that justice piece of me that's like, I gotta get justice for this. This has to be fair. And it's never fucking gonna be. So the next biggest win for me is nothing. You get nothing. Good day, sir. But you don't get anything from me anymore, because you don't get to villainize how I react to your shitty behavior anymore. You don't get to decide how my reaction to you being terrible to me, you don't get to decide that anymore. So you know what you're not going to get is any kind of reaction. And yeah, I'm going to talk to my therapist about it. I'm going to call you too, probably crying.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because honestly, I thought that was the update that you should have given today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think you've been, not that your update wasn't good.
No,
I didn't mean it like that.
No, it's okay.
But I think you have been a rock star of using your support systems. And that is so appreciated. It is hard to lean on your people for support. And I think you have done so well.
Thank you.
So well.
Thank you.
It's hard. It's hard to pick up the phone and be like, hey, I just got to talk through this. Or it's hard to text being like, help. It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I think I was joking with, Rebecca earlier. Was it earlier today or yesterday? I don't know. At some point, I wasn't around you. I was talking to my mini therapist, Alyssa.
Yeah, obviously.
Alyssa's my therapist that doesn't get paid for it. But, because I can only see my therapist once a week, but I can talk to Alyssa whenever I want.
Listen, I'm doing the work too, so I get it.
But no, Alyssa has become my I have bad episodes. And I will pick up that phone, text Alyssa, hey Alyssa, I'm scared. I'm scared because I can't get my emotions under control right now. I can't breathe. I don't know what to do and I need help. Or I call Rebecca. And
this is where Alyssa's a therapist, because literally she calls me and my first thing is, are you already crying? And I ask,
it's so funny though.
I'm like, I need to know so I know how to respond to her. But
I will text her first.
Are you already crying?
I will text her first, be like, can I call you? And we will have the
crown of therapists.
We will.
I'm not worried.
We really do preface it with she's like, are you already crying? And sometimes I'll be like, I'll preface it with I'm not crying, I'm just really mad. She's like, okay, cool. I just need to know where we're at. But sometimes it is emergency level, so I already call, and she's like, oh, okay, you're already crying. Got it. Just gotta know which hat to put on right now. But she's all. I mean, you're also very good about you two both really helped me. A couple weeks ago, I think it was the week before Christmas. Which again, my therapist said that you guys did a really good job of diagnosing this, but it was realizing that I couldn't understand why, I had moved into my new place. I was starting to get settled and I felt like fucking shit. I felt like I got hit by a truck. Yeah. I felt like I got hit by a truck. It was one of the, I should be happy. I was telling myself, I should be happy. What's wrong with you?
Well, yeah, because you made it through a difficult patch,
yes,
right? You're
exactly.
no, girl, this is the time we get to relax and feel good.
We should be celebrating.
We have a place to live, a
100%,
roof over our head. Yeah.
And I talked to both of you guys, and it was well, you've literally been running on pure adrenaline. You've been in fight or flight mode for 2.5 months now.
And all in public spaces, all in other people's homes, and sometimes without even a door separating you from anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it truly was just my body crashing. My body just being oh.
We can rest and actually process.
We can rest, we can process, and you don't need all that adrenaline that you were running on anymore, so I'm not going to make it. So
now you got to feel it all.
So now you got to feel it all, because I'm not giving you shit to run on right now. You can't run from this now. And that's been hard.
Yeah.
That's been hard. Because running was a distraction. And
and the adrenaline feels good.
Yeah.
The adrenaline feels good.
It does.
I talk about this now that I'm not living in a trauma response. I miss the actual adrenaline of it. And that's messed up to say.
But the thing is, when you get used to it, and the thing is, I've been living in a trauma response for over 30 years.
Yeah.
And I know there are people out there, like, and I'm not thinking of anyone specifically, but like, well, maybe I am, but there are people out there who will villainize adult children who go no contact. And all I want to say to you, you have no fucking clue.
Yeah.
You have no fucking clue.
Well, you know what? For that, I'm glad they don't.
Honestly,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
I'm very happy for you
Good
that you have
for
no
you.
idea. I'm very glad that you have no reason to go no contact with your family.
Yeah,
But
good for you.
yeah, over 30 years of living in a trauma response will fuck you up. And I couldn't do it anymore. So yeah, learning how to not react is truly giving me more peace than I think I've ever had. And also, this sounds fucked up, but knowing that my mom has no idea where I am and cannot find me is giving me more peace than I ever thought it would. Because the thing is that, like you were saying, Rebecca, is I am willing to meet people where they're at. I am so willing to do the work to meet you where you're at. And like both of you were saying, but no longer at the expense of myself, no longer at the expense of your feelings are superior to mine just because you gave birth to me, because we share the same DNA, because societally I'm supposed to no.
Yeah.
What did we just talk about in a previous episode? We have one life to live.
Yeah.
And it's my job to make sure that I am happy. And that's no longer coming at the expense of putting other people's happiness above mine.
Yeah. I will say, outsider looking in, and this is just like a visual kind of manifestation of what's been happening. But you went from living in your home that you shared with your ex-husband that was kind of designed up, right, to look like a really nice, what everyone had, right, to living with your mother where you weren't really allowed to have any personal decorations. Or, I went into that room you stayed in and I would not know it was you. It could have been any visitor, right? And that was for over a year. And now you have your space, and it is so fun seeing you pick out little decorations and things that are your style, and like nothing like what you've lived in the past. Like you get to, because it's just for you.
Yeah.
And what you're going through is hard, but also you weren't able to be you in any of those spaces. So I do hope that as time goes by and you feel your body kind of regulates and gets used to the new situation, like you do get to just really enjoy the experience of getting to discover what you like and how you like your space, because you haven't been able to in these other situations. So it's been fun watching those parts.
It's been fun to do.
Yeah.
It's been fun to do. And I do want to give a very big shout out to James for Christmas. He very much wanted to buy me my favorite perfume that I used to wear all the time, which happens to be a very expensive perfume. And I put off sending him the link to this perfume for as long as I could. And he's like, Allie, please send me the link for this perfume. I really want to get it for you. And I finally was like, okay, but here's the thing. I'm just in my new space. And I think what would mean so much more to me is starting to feel at home in my space. And he was like, say less. Right. And so I had made this like little wish list on Amazon. And I was like, I don't want you to tell me what you're picking off of it. Just pick whatever you want to pick from it. You cannot spend more than what the perfume. He did not listen to that part, but just pick what you want to pick from it. And honestly, the things that he sent me for Christmas made me feel so loved. Yeah. Made me feel so loved because, like, I think part of it too, like, it was like James thinking, like, logically thinking through, like, what he would want for, like, you know, if he's setting up a new space, right? So, like, he really thought logically through it. But then, like, he thought about what would make me happy. Like, happy in my new space. And, like, now I get to look around my room and, like, yes, it's stuff that I picked out, but it's also stuff that James got for me. Yeah. So it feels a little bit of me, a little bit of James. And it's, like, it's really nice. I felt very loved. Yeah. Yeah. I felt very, very loved.
It's really sweet support. And I think absolutely what you needed going into a space that you did need to be able to rest in. Yeah. Yeah. Go, James.
And I have 2 new kitty roommates that I love very much. I love them. That's my update.
So it sounds like we're doing okay.
We are.
We're doing okay.
I was going to say, how are we doing? Not well, bitch. You know, I would say we're doing okay.
Ask me how I'm doing.
How you doing?
I'm okay, bitch. I'm okay.
I do think you know, we're just in a different place, because even with all the stuff happening in my relationship, I could go to y'all. I went to my sister and my mom. I went to some of my high school friends. It was nice. Like, I was able to go to people to process that emotions, and you talking about using the support system, it truly is a thing. Like, I usually don't.
I don't. I get yelled at all the time for it.
Yeah, and so I think the fact that when things go down, you at least let us know, and if you're not ready to process with it, like, we're at least at that point. Like, this thing is happening, it's affecting me. I'll process with you when I can, right? Or I'll share with you when I can. We are at that point, and I think we're better served for it.
Yeah.
Now, did I, when I first got to see Alyssa, after weeks of not seeing her, be like, all right, hey girl, I need to know. I need you to give me the story. I did. Did I bully it out of her? No. I was like, just tell me what you can tell me. So I don't give her all the space she wants.
We're curious girls, you know, but we try our best.
Yeah.
Just because we love you.
Yeah.
God, man, she loves to get sappy, but she doesn't like when people get sappy with her.
No.
You just, oh.
We're fat.
You deserve for people to get sappy with you too, Alyssa.
We're fat.
We love you, Alyssa.
Oh my gosh.
We love you so much.
Thank you everyone so much for watching this episode. We'd love to hear how you're doing, what's going on in your world.
And we're fat.
Thank God.
And please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. It just helps support us in our big fat careers.
And we're fat.
We're fab.
And we are sometimes friends.
Friends always. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
That's a cute ending.